we have the current stock market analysis for Palantir Technologies Incorporated, stock ticker PLTR. Before we begin, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have the 4-hour price chart. We're going to drill into the recent price movements here, identify some important support and resistance zones so that hopefully traders can identify some profitable trading strategies for this stock going forward. And as we can see here, the share price has continued to surge higher. What we've seen here recently has been a price gap that has started to unfold for this stock. And this price gap started to form at roughly right around the $31 mark and then extends to roughly $32.50. I do think that this 32.50 area is particularly important for this stock, and I will explain why in this video. But currently, as things stand, we're seeing near-term highs coming in at $36.01. A lot of the near-term optimism for the stock is being propelled by its inclusion into the S&P 500, along with Dell Technologies. So this was a bit of an expected move. So we are seeing a bit of a market reaction here that's in the positive direction. However, we do have to keep in mind that the forward price to earnings ratio for this stock is going to likely start to create headwinds at some point. I have been seeing some kind of crazy projections on this platform about, $100 per share for this stock and things like that. I don't really expect that to happen near term. I think that we need to be a bit more reasonable about what's actually likely to happen here. So in this video, we will be outlining some important price zones to identify the possibility that identify situations where a reversal might be found to be in place, and some suggestions here which would suggest that the upside momentum is ready to turn in the other direction. So as things currently stand, we did break above the $36 mark. We didn't close there for the week. We closed just below 35.60. And if we do start to see share price movement to the downside, a lot of that is probably going to be based on the fact that share price in readings in the momentum indicator are currently showing overbought signals. So if we look at the relative strength index here, we can see a reading of right around 75, roughly 70, just above 75. So anything above the 70 mark would be considered to be overbought, and this does suggest that share price, momentum could start to slow in this area. The real question is, have we seen too much price movement over a short period of time? Was this actually based on any fundamental changes in the company? These are legitimate questions that need to be asked. So rather than just make outlandish price projections, which is what almost everybody else does on this platform, we do have to be a bit more reasonable about what would be the most likely scenario. So since things are starting to hit into this over bought territory, I do think that it's a good idea to start to look at some potential levels to the downside, which would suggest possibly that this upside momentum is ready to turn in the other direction. The first area that I would be pointing to here would be this 32.50 zone, which is roughly an area of historical resistance. But then additionally, what we have here is not only the top of that not only the top of the price gap that I mentioned previously, but it's also the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement of this ascending move higher. So basically, this is the move from 21.23 to just above $36 per share. And here we can see that this red zone here gives us a 23.6% fib level. That comes in just above 32.50. So when we pair that with the fact that this is also the top of the price gap, this is turning out to be or shaping up to be a very critical potential level to the downside. If we were to see a break below there, I do think that share price losses could start to accelerate because what you would have to expect at that stage would be a refill of this prior price gap. Now, this isn't a huge price gap because it really wasn't based on very much information. I think the market was aware of the fact that Palantir was likely to be included in the S&P 500. So seeing sharp price movement like that on its own, it really isn't much of a catalyst because it doesn't do much to change the valuation metrics, the fundamental operations of the company and things like that. So, a share price movement back into this area cannot be ruled out. If we do see a break below this 32.50 level, I would then expect to see share prices move back into roughly 30.50. I think that you could probably lose another $2 per share at that point, because this would mark the bottom of the bottom edge of that price gap, and then it's also the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement of that same ascending price move. So that comes in right around roughly $30.40. So as we can see, there is a bit of a confluence here, and the this 100 period exponential moving average, this rising purple line here, is starting to move right into that area. So remember, these are moving averages; they always continue. They continuously move. So the slope in this moving average is pointed in the upward direction, and I do think that we're ready to come into contact with this 38.2% fib retracement relatively soon. So, as things stand, we are closing out right near the highs. I'm not saying that this isn't a bullish scenario for the stock. It's good news that the company is being included in the S&P 500. One of the companies that was booted from the S&P 500, taken out of the S&P, was American Airlines. Not exactly a very impressive company. It's a company that's just constantly being bailed out whenever there's any type of catastrophic event. These people are really on the government till, and they have been for a long time. I personally have absolutely no problem seeing American Airlines being removed from the S&P 500, and I do think that companies like Palantir and Dell should both be included. So that's good news as expected. Should be things that occur, but you have to wonder at what point does this become priced into the market. And then that's also adding to the fact that this movement higher is pushing the forward PE metric into even more extreme territory. So as a result, I don't recommend watching these clickbaiters at all. Really, I mean, I don't even think anybody should be watching them. But definitely don't be taking any of these trade recommendations, because if we are looking to buy at these highs here, you could be looking at share price movements that could fall $5 or $6 potentially to the downside. I do think that would sort of be a worst case scenario. I'm not necessarily suggesting that that will be happening soon, but I do see technical signals here that do present risks for share prices to start to move into that area. The first price level that I would be watching here does come in right around this 32.50 area, so that's fairly easy to remember. And then if we do see a price break below there, you do have to start looking at the potential for this price gap to be filled to the downside. So there are some important levels to watch here. So here's the current stock market analysis for Palantir Technologies Incorporated, stock ticker PLTR. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.